Good morning. I'm in the car today because my fiance and my stepchildren-to-be are all asleep in the house, and I don't want to disturb them. But I do want to disturb you. And I say that because I've been working on the methodology that I think would be best to help all of humanity. And I've been quite frustrated because people listen and they hear the logic. They hear that it makes sense from person to person, business to business, business to politics, the benefits to the people through improved government. Every step of the way, with explanation, makes sense to people of all types. Wealthy people, poor people, Democrats, Republicans, all colors of people from different countries. Being a human being makes you understand the conversation that I have with them, and it's not really new. It's more like identifying air. It's identifying something that we take for granted, and that is that we have common shared ethics that can unite us. And we do have enemies at the same time, so that it's not like saying everybody's great, just love everyone and everything in the world will be fine. It's actually a methodology that is rooted in successful systems like the American Constitution, for example, and in medical care, in police work, in business entrepreneurship. The systems that I'm working with are functioning in our society today, so that I can talk to any member of our society and find commonality, and yet acknowledge that that commonality is something to fight for. It's not vague and ambiguous. So what I'm saying is vague and ambiguous because I need you to step out of the common patterns. Your mind is looking for a common pattern. Is this person selling me something? What are they selling me? Do I have any interest in it? Do I have the money for it? Are they scamming me? Am I wasting my time? And then there is are they a member of the world that I claim to myself? Do I recognize his culture? Do I want to listen to what he might have to say? Is he a Democrat? Is he a Republican? Is he an American, or is he a German? Where does he come from? All these pattern recognitions kick in. And then there's the cynicism and the apathy of like, there's no point in this. It's garbage like everything else. I'm in the middle of a landfill of content. So it's just garbage, garbage, garbage. Even if it's shiny and beautiful, it's still probably garbage. And so I just should allow myself to do my work, be entertained, and see what happens. I'm going to be a witness to what happens in the world, not a participant in making impact. That's what I find as a human mind. So what I want to tell you is that you're a human being. And I say that to you because you're being influenced by non-human beings. You're being influenced by corporations. They're entities similar to creating a robot. They are managed by humans, but they are created as something other than human and recognized under our laws. We created laws that not only govern human beings, but govern corporations. And corporations are almost as if you have designed a personality. It's a narcissist, right? It's a personality that has been designed to think for itself and about itself and its needs and its success as defined by people, but under a filtered thought process. The filter is for profit and ignore that goals that are not for profit, right? So you have a sociopathic narcissist entity, and you also have created this thing that allows many people to work with it. It is not limited to just being a single robot, like representing one person roaming the world as a sociopathic narcissist trying to serve itself. It can bring in many investors who want to earn from it, like little fish swimming alongside a shark. They want to benefit from the ride of that corporation, thinking only of itself. And its operators can be replaced, and the investors can be replaced. So there's not just one person that's guiding this that we can work with. The CEO can be replaced, the board, and the investors. So the corporation can continue on with a, quote, life of its own. In the meantime, it may want, for example, to avoid responsibility for damages that it causes because it costs money to manage those damages. It may be in humanity's best interest to solve those damages, but it's not in the corporation's best interests. And you can't fault the corporation because we designed the corporation to avoid expenses. So if it's cheaper to hire lawyers or pay the fine than to solve the damages that it's causing, that's what it's going to do. It's been designed to do that. It is fully functioning when it seeks profit over morality. If it finds that if it's losing money because of its immorality, then maybe it'll look. But it's not going to use a human conscience to decide what to do next. So I propose to you that we should not be having these entities control our government. We don't want these entities to decide if a person gets clean water or not, because the corporation would say, what's the profit in it for me? How can I earn the most amount of money by the need of people having water? We don't want that for government, and it should be obvious to you. Corporations can flourish and be an economic tool under a capitalist system of economics that can be fantastic. I want a corporation to be designing better tools and spending money on R&D and providing us a better product and competing with another corporation to show us which product is better and which service model is better for us to use. But if you haven't noticed, we're calling corporations for help that we pay, and then we're waiting on hold forever and being introduced to barriers with their website to use or their artificial intelligence or outsourced lowest possible labor cost available, not the best service to us, not the most articulate, helping, compassionate human being on the other end of the phone. It's actually hard to reach a person at all. And so that means it's in their interest to do that. And that means the system is not working, because that is the result. We had the corporation to compete for the best service possible to offer people, and we ended up with the worst possible service imaginable. So the system is not working. The reason it's not working is because the corporations are creating the laws that interfere with competition, that interfere with the ability of the people to respond to the normal supply and demand benefit analysis of cost and versus what we're getting back, that there's really not enough choice. There's too much similarity between very large companies and services that we depend on that we can't leave. A really great example is, how many contracts have you signed or approved of electronically without ever reading? You need the service. It says, here's our terms and conditions. Click. We're doing that all day. So there's actually no meaning anymore in the law that you're signing about. You know, you're participating in the system of receiving a contract, approving of it with your own signature, but almost everyone using the service has never read the contract. We have legislators writing laws that affect everyone, and they haven't read the legislation. So can't we just agree that there's a problem here in our society? And so I'm saying human beings need to be the legislators, not corporations. Corporations should not be paying representatives to represent them in the process of making legislation. So therefore, we must have a constitutional amendment because the Supreme Court has said corporations are to be considered like people, like they have personhood under the law. And when they have $1 trillion account from thousands of people participating, they have a right to use that money, the latest in psychological technology, the latest in political science manipulation, to control the message, to control people's behavior, and it's free speech. It's the equivalent of somebody using the printing press to say, "Hey, I want a change in our system, in our government," or a person to the rights to write poetry or create artwork. They basically said corporations can control the government and write all the laws for humanity because they have a right to free speech because they're people. That's really obviously flawed reasoning. And I would suggest to you it was probably corporate reasoning that got into the court. So now human beings, we the people, avoiding violent conflict, need to use our legal system, which allows for an amendment to the Constitution, the highest law of the land, that says corporations are not people. Only human beings are people. Speech is human expression of an opinion, artwork, any kind of human expression. I think the words human expression accounts for it. You can express your opinion on what the law should be. You can write a letter. You can publish a website. You can do anything you want that is a nonviolent way of saying, this is who I am. This is how I feel. This is what I want to produce in the world. As a human being, we want you to have that right. A corporation is a special economic tool that is important for us to allow it to flourish, but it's not flourishing the way it should. So we're also helping the corporations by changing the system to say only human beings with a human conscience, which I'm going to say is all human beings, even though we know better, on average, they have a human conscience. Only allow them to participate in government. Now, how in the world can we get this amendment passed? We get it passed by telling the legislators they have to pass it or lose their job. That's what corporations are doing now. They say to the legislators, you will not be receiving the money that you need to win your office unless you support our legislation for us. So we, the people, need to make it a very simple and straightforward declaration. We're going to support you, elected official, only if you support the amendment. Tell us you support the amendment. We're going to believe you. It's going to reach your desk then as a result of this political force. And if you vote for it, everything's fine. If you vote against it, you're out of the office. So let's move forward on that as soon as possible. You who is hearing this right now, it would be really helpful if you support this organization so that we can get the word out. It is expensive. This is what corporations are spending money on is messaging. So we also need this messaging to be sent. And then after the amendment is passed, we won't need it anymore. It'll be a fair playing field. The change will happen to everybody at the same time. And so this is a temporary need of spending money to make this happen. So people are aware of it. They understand what their job is. Their job is to tell the businesses that we want them to be ethical. We want them to support the amendment. We want them to tell the politicians that they need to take a pledge of ethics and they need to support the amendment. And if they don't, we get rid of them. This needs to be first above policy. So you can be Republican, you can be a Democrat, you can be for or against every single issue there is on the books, but you need to be for this. And then we'll decide about everything else. Thank you for listening. Please contact me if you feel cynical, if you feel like this doesn't work, you see a problem. I want to fix the problem. I want to see what you see so I can address it. Okay? If you just want to feel good about knowing it's going to fail, that's your prerogative. but I would like your support as soon as possible. I think we're running out of time because of the trends in the world and artificial intelligence and other factors. Please help us as soon as possible, like right now, before you forget about it. All right? Thank you.